What's up? What's up? What's up? It's that time of the show where we kind of give a shout out to our sponsors. The sponsor today is Anchor. Anchor is everything you need to create your own podcast. You can use Anchor to distribute your show. They'll kind of get it out for you. And all you have to do is do it from your cell phone or your microphone, however you want to do it. But if you want to get your voice out there, if you want to talk to the people, there's no better place to do it than Anchor. So download the app Anchor or go to their website, anchor.com. It'll distribute your podcast on all platforms. So again, Anchor. Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Another episode of You Can't Play Boxing podcast. So this episode, it's coming out a little later on this Sunday because Vegas was something, man. Had a lot of drinking, so a lot of took like all day to kind of recuperate. But we're gonna knock out this episode, talk about the fight. We're gonna recap the Manny Pacquiao Keith Thurman fight, which was live from Las Vegas out of the MGM Grand Arena yesterday. So, this was like really, to be truthful, this is my first fight night in Vegas. And so, one of the things about this fight is that this fight is taking place in July. So if anybody knows Vegas or can imagine Vegas in July, it was 100 plus degrees when I landed. But to be truthful, like really, to be 100 degrees, it wasn't that bad. Like I expected a lot worse, Now, admittedly, I didn't do a lot of walking. I was in an Uber most of the time as far as when the sun was in. But, it wasn't that bad. The atmosphere on the Strip and in the casinos was definitely a buzz. I've been to Vegas a couple times before. This had a different buzz than, some of the previous times I came. So a lot of people were excited about the fight. My Uber driver was talking about it. It was really something that, people was excited about. So all in all, man, I had a blast. A lot of drinks, a lot of things you see in Vegas in the summertime that you don't see in the wintertime. But overall, it was a good time. Of course, a lot of things that happen in Vegas, like, you got to stay in Vegas, but, we try to, keep that on the, but nah, it was a good time. I'm just messing around. So getting into the fight, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. Of course, by now, if you follow boxing, you probably know the outcome of the fight. Manny Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman for a decision. Just for the record, I did wager on the fight. I wagered consistent with my preview of yesterday. I bet on Thurman by decision. That was more of a hope. As if you listen to my previous episode, you kind of heard where I said Thurman would have to dig deep. And true to form, they definitely had to dig deep, and we'll kind of get into that. But Pacquiao, he won via a split decision. Some people were kind of mad that it was a split decision. It's not. Now, don't get me wrong. To give Thurman a split decision, you'd have had to see the fight one way and give him the benefit of the doubt. But he did outland Pacquiao in the fight, and he had a better connect percentage, and he threw more power punches. So, I mean, if you are a judge in the fight and you have like a tunnel vision, I can see how you can possibly have Thurman winning by a round. So it wasn't, even though I didn't have it that way, I wasn't totally crazy about it. Now, if Thurman would have won, then it would have been different, but I'm not totally like upset by a split decision. Recapping the fight, first round was pretty interesting. You had Thurman, who in my mind and from my view, he was doing a little bit more in the first round to control the fight. He had it like for the first 2.5 minutes or whatever. First 2 minutes, but in the last part of the round, Thurman was bagging back, and Pacquiao rushed him, Thurman, not on solid footing, took one to the jaw and really kind of suffered a flash knockdown. Now, remember this now. That's very pivotal. I'm sorry, very pivotal, because if Thurman wins that round, he's up 10-9 for the first round. And in my viewpoint, he was probably winning the round on probably 2 or 3 of those judges' scorecards. But by Pacquiao knocking him down with that flash knockdown, that took a Thurman 10-9 round to be a Pacquiao 10-8 round. That's a 3-point swing right there. And then from there, like I said in my preview, it took Thurman a while to figure out Pacquiao. Pacquiao was true to form. He was turning him. He was twisting him around. I was talking about the fight with my cousin and whatever, because he bet on the fight too, and he actually won. He bet on Pacquiao. But as I was telling my cousin, Pacquiao, he was turning Thurman, and he was darting in and out, and he was scoring points, kind of what I expected. Not doing power shots, but buzzing them. Bzz, 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 hit him, turn him, bzz, 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 hit him, turn him, bzz, 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 bzz. And it's hard if you don't, because there's no fighter really like Manny Pacquiao. So if you can't replicate what he does in sparring. So if you don't see that too often, you're going to really, it's going to take you a while to adjust. And Pacquiao, he was turning him and buzzing him, especially those first 3 rounds, pretty consistently. I had him win the first 3 rounds. So if you look at it, Pacquiao was up 4 points right there, 30-26 in the first 3 rounds. Now the next 3 rounds, it was interesting because Pacquiao when you fight like Pacquiao does, and you're fighting a bigger guy, and you don't want the bigger guy to kind of get his momentum, you have to expend a lot of energy. And so Pacquiao, what he did in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round, what I was noticing is that he would fight in spurts. He was still buzzing him and turning him, but he wasn't doing it as frequent as he was doing in the first 3 rounds. Even still, he would kind of like maybe take half a round off, maybe the first 2 rounds off, first 2 minutes off, and then kind of like fight in spurts, buzz him, turn him, dart in, bzz, 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 hit him. And he was, really kind of frustrating Thurman. But even still, because I gave him credit for outworking Pacquiao in one of those rounds. After the first 6 rounds, I had the fight 59 to 55 or 50. Oh, it was 59 to 55. Yeah, 59-55, if I'm not mistaken. It was 58-55. I gave Thurman 2 of those rounds. So, and because he, it was 4-2. So, but he had that 1 point. So yeah, it was 58-55. I had it because Thurman, he was outworking him in the first couple of minutes of some of those rounds that people gave to Pacquiao. But I can see how you can give Pacquiao those rounds if you want to. So it's not a big thing. Now, what I will say, round 7. That was a round that I started to see Thurman definitely kind of catch his stride. Round 7, you can look at the round. He started to get comfortable, started to bounce up and down, had his feet set. He was planning. One of his best rounds. Round 8, same thing. Round 9. So at the round 9, now don't get me wrong, Pacquiao was still making Thurman work, but Thurman was making Pacquiao work, and he was hitting with power shots. And I had Thurman winning those last 3 rounds. So going into round 9, I think I had the fight 86. I had Thurman win 2 out of those 3 rounds. Going around 9, going around 10, I had Pacquiao at 96 to 93. Yeah, 96-93. If I'm not mistaken, 96-93. Round 10 was something that to me, it turned the fight because At that point, Thurman is down by 3 points, but he has the momentum. So if he continues to show the momentum that he's been doing, he has a possibility of winning this fight if he does that. So round 10, he has the momentum. And what happens? Pacquiao hit him with a body shot that made Thurman start convulsing almost. He had to get out of there. That turned the fight. That turned the momentum right there. Pacquiao won the 10th round. I gave Thurman round 11 and round 12. But so my scorecard, as far as winning, I had Pacquiao winning 114, 113. I can see how you have Pacquiao winning 115, 112 if you want to give it to him. 116, 111 is kind of wide to me. 117, 110 is kind of wide. But, hey, I mean, everybody got to judge how they see it. But I didn't see it. I could see 115, 112. But something beyond that was kind of a lot. So, and what I mentioned yesterday is that, in the preview was that I knew in this fight they were going to kind of go toe-to-toe, and I had them winning each 6 rounds. Now, you could have had Pacquiao winning 7 rounds or whatever, but it was a pretty even, it wasn't a blowout matchup to me. But what I knew is that at a point in the fight, somebody was going to have to dig deep, and Pacquiao, in that 10th round, even though he was tired, even though he got beat a lot of those previous rounds, like the 7th, 8th, 9th round, and the momentum was definitely shifting towards Thurman, Pacquiao dug deep with that body shot and totally changed the fight. And by winning that round, he won the fight to me. That first round with the 3-point swing and that 10th round with that body shot, those were the keys to the fight. Thurman did not fight a bad fight. I'm pretty sure there were some things he would like to do differently. Because it was with a couple things going the other way, it could have definitely been this fight. But he lost. He lost fair and square. He owned up to it. So all in all, it was a good fight. I definitely enjoyed it. So where do we go from here? We got Pacquiao's going to turn 41 years old. I mean, in December. He doesn't plan on fighting again until next year. Me personally, unless it's a Floyd Mayweather fight, I don't think Manny Pacquiao should fight again, because who are you going to fight? You're going to fight Errol Spence, who's hella big? No, I mean, that's not fair. I mean, Errol Spence is in the prime. Manny Pacquiao's smaller than him and not in his prime. That's a bad recipe. You're going to fight Sean Porter? Even if he beats Errol Spence? I guess you could, but Sean Porter's going to make that fight. If he were to win, it's going to make that fight dirty. He's going to make that fight dirty, and Pacquiao can still, because he got even at 41 years old, he'll have better skills than Sean Porter. But what if he beats Sean Porter? Does that add something to his resume? Does that really make Manny Pacquiao look better? I mean, nah. The only thing that makes him look better, this is a perfect way to go out unless you're going to fight Mayweather. You beat an undefeated guy who had the belts at 40 years old. Perfect way to sign off if you're going to sign off. So that would be my thing for Pacquiao to do. I would give Pacquiao, I would give him an advice to kind of just, hey, unless it's Mayweather, then I wouldn't even try to fight anyone else, because it's just not a good matchup for this point in his life. It doesn't make sense for him to do that, So, moving over to Thurman. I don't know what Thurman will. I don't know if Thurman Hart is in doing a reclamation project. And it's not reclamation. It's not like he got beat bad. I mean, he's still one of the best welterweights if his mind is into it. But I think Thurman is probably looking at retiring unless there's a challenge. I don't think he particularly sees I don't think Errol Spence is going to be a good matchup for him. Danny Garcia could be a good rematch. Sean Porter, I wouldn't want to fight him again. I mean, you beat him once, so what you going to gain by beating him again? It's going to be the same sort of fight, or you lose. Now, if you are going to come back, I would say a good fight to kind of come back would be a fight against Adrian Broner. Broner, he kind of has some little words for him. So if I was Thurman, I would probably look at retirement because I think his heart is not into it. And boxing, like the name of this podcast say, you can't play boxing. So if your heart is not in it, then do not do it. Do not be in there. So that would be my advice to Thurman. Not that he needs my advice. So, that's the recap. We about to sign off in a second. Let you guys know, check us out on Instagram at You Can't Play Boxing on Instagram. That's UCANT Play Boxing on Instagram. Our next episode, what we're going to do, one of those upcoming classic fight rewinds from a fight not too long ago. Sergey Kovalev versus Andre Ward, the first fight. So a lot of people think that fight was controversial. I'm going to rescore it, give you my thoughts on it. So until next time, y'all. Peace.